And he has been transported to a 1960s era kitchen where he is forever frozen in time. Is he back? He looked like he twitched. I'm not really sure.
I think his 0.25 megapixel camera is working overtime right now.
Ah, I gotcha. Well, we're waiting for Lolo to sit. Is he there? I see some movement. Anyway, folks, welcome to the show. It is another fun-filled On the Stoop happy hour with yours truly and his truly, who's just shaking his head in confusion, as it would be. Are you in there? Say something.
All right, we're here. Yeah, we're here live. Welcome back to the Stoop, everybody. Welcome. It's Friday night. We are here on the Stoop. It's time to crack them beers.
Lolo. In the 1950s kitchen and the 1950s.
Welcome back to the 1950s kitchen. We are here to talk some football.
Cheers.
Welcome back, guys. How's everybody doing?
We are doing fantastic. Doing absolutely fantastic.
Mark, very good to see you, my friend. I see you wearing a different kit today. It's not quite. It's a bit more gold than your gold kit should be.
It's a bit more yellow, and yes, I am wearing the LEEDS away kit in honor of their away victory versus Oxford, a very spirited Oxford team, I might add. I didn't expect that kind of fight. It was a fun game. I don't know if the diehard Leeds fans enjoyed it, as I think there was a little bit too much drama for the Leeds fans, especially at the end, because that cross could have connected. It was a bit of a nail biter.
Mark, I swear to God, man, I had just made this stream that said Leeds back on top. And I was like, don't do it. No, come on. There's 1 minute left. Do not lose this game. Do not lose. Yeah. Do not draw this game.
Yeah.
But good. Leeds
on an absolute platter. And he just
Leeds United actually held tight. And Leeds United are at the top. And Mark, we're looking at a season where Leeds United could be back in the Premier League. Are you excited about that? Because
of course I am. I'm very excited. I'm excited for a lot of our friends on the other side of the world, of the pond, as they are fond of saying. This is something that has not been in doubt for me for a while, even though they've had a bit of struggles as of late. I think the Premier League is better with a Leeds United in it. And I just hope they can stay up a little bit longer. They can maybe find the success of a Brentford or a Nottingham Forest rather than the becoming a team that is termed a yo-yo club. I mean, we definitely have like your Sheffield Uniteds and your Burnley and your Norwiches, and these teams are just up and down. It's Southampton, up and down, up and down. I don't want that for Leeds. So let's get them to spend. Let's get them 49ers and them Red Bulls to spend some money and put together a quality team that the Wolves can give up 6 points a season to.
Let's be honest, Mark. Just say it. We need you to cheat. We need you to go ahead and get a points deduction, but spend $1 billion and build a club and get a points deduction that doesn't knock you out of the Premier League like Nottingham Forest did. Yeah,
Everton,
exactly.
Everton got 6. Forest got 2.
Yeah, you might as well cheat.
Yeah, they made some changes to the FFP rules where now if you are the prime example is Leicester. Leicester, when they went down, they were facing some sanctions, some FFP sanctions, but they escaped them because they were being relegated. Now you can't use relegation as an excuse to avoid violation or penalty. I was just reading about that today. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, yeah, indeed. And Mark, to hit the other topic of the show before we get into it and bring all of our guests in. So we are definitely going to talk about Leeds United being at the top of the championship right now.
And I'm sure that we will be.
Show.
I'm sure we'll be talking about Arsenal a bit today as well.
Mark, I mean, can you just give us a little bit of credit here? I mean, I'm going to give you
all the credit because you know, I didn't think a 3-goal advantage was going to be enough. As many the millions of Real Madrid fans out there was hoping for. I wasn't hoping, but the possibility of a remontada was a possibility, you know. And I'm glad you guys got that monkey off your back. You know, I really am.
And Mark, that last goal, by the way, yes, a draw, we would have gone through and would have been happy. But to me, no, we needed to beat that team twice. We needed to beat them home and away, and we needed to get people. And everybody's saying, yes, we gave up 1 goal, but everybody's chalking that goal off like I hope they would. That 1 goal was like a moment of dumb play, a mistake by one of our best players. You know what?
Well,
give him that goal, but I'm still taking it as a clean sheet. I'm still taking it as a clean sheet.
You can't because it wasn't a clean sheet.
I am.
But what I would look at is that Saliba did such a good job on Mbappe that mistake, as poor as it was, can be forgiven.
Yeah. And it didn't end up mattering. And then we won the game in the end. So my thought is, listen, we went up against Real Madrid and it's not like we skirted through. We destroyed them. We dismantled them. And as I put in the thumbnail and in the title, we embarrassed them. If you're a Real Madrid fan and Mo Master, I hope Mo Master shows up because you know what? You need to acknowledge that your team was embarrassed. I don't care if you want to say, oh, it's one of the worst Real Madrid teams of all time. Motherfucker, you got Jude Bellingham. You got Mbappe. You got Vinny Jr. You got Rodrigo. You got all these people. And the one who showed the most heart, was Danny frickin' Carvajal at the end of the match grabbing Saka by the throat. And you know what? If one of your teammates would have done that during one of the matches, maybe you would have had some hope. And Danny Carvajal, I love you as a Spain fan, but as a Madrid player, nah, fuck off, my friend. No, you.
Yeah,
billion pound
player. I don't think that many on the Real team played with much heart. I think if anybody played with the most heart, if I had to award, pick a player that was the best for Real, it's Courtois. He played with passion. And there's a couple of spots where he, it was impossible. The 2 Rice goals, absolutely impossible. To get to the Saka
chip by
goal.
Saka was.
Yeah. I mean, that was.
What do you want your keeper to do?
That was on a ricochet anyway. It came off the guy's backside. It was not counted as no goal. Saka's goal came off of a Real Madrid player. I'm not sure who.
No, it did not.
It was definite. Okay, we can agree to disagree.
Saka,
but
pretty
sure.
Hold on. What goal are you talking about? Because Saka's goal did not come off of anybody.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I seem to remember it differently, but I watch a lot of football, so who knows what I saw. I'm pretty sure.
Or are you talking about the first
one of the second game? Saka scored the first goal of the second match, right? Martinelli scored the second one. I had turned it off by then.
Yeah, but Saka's goal, it came to him and he chipped it over Courtois. Nobody touched it. There's no off of anybody's
okay,
back.
maybe I'm thinking of something else. I swear it did, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Arsenal still did it in incredible fashion. I don't think, even with the goal that Madrid got back, I don't think anything was anywhere near close. I mean, Arsenal had that sewn up by halftime, even though it was, was it 0-0 at half on the second match in the aggregate?
Yep. Yeah. So I'm just ecstatic. I'm over the moon about the way Arsenal performed. It's not even about sneaking by or anything. Like, it's something that we talk about when your team loses. When your team loses, you want them to play well. And even if we were to skirt by, had we lost 2-0, it still would have been invigorating to get through. However, we outplayed them 2 matches, and that's what matters to me the most. Even if that would have ended 1-1, we still outplayed them to me. And Rodrigo, the balls of this fucking kid Rodrigo, who I have loved Rodrigo because he is not the superstar that Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. are, and he's getting thrown to the wayside because Mbappe is there. Rodrigo is a fantastic player, but Rodrigo comes out and he says post-match, Arsenal didn't do anything the first half. They didn't want to win the match. They wanted to keep us from losing. They did nothing the first half. Motherfucker, I rewatched that match 4 times since it happened. We had more shots on target in the first half than y'all. We had more attacks than you all in the first half. So, yeah, y'all played harder in the first half, but we were better.
They won all 4 times?
We won all 4 times.
You tried some crazy
Real Madrid has never beaten Arsenal. Real Madrid has never beaten Arsenal in the Champions League. And you know what? We are the only team to win twice at the Bernabeu. The only team. So, you know what? Put a little respect on Arsenal's name, Mo Master. I'm talking to you. And chill out. Just know that you were beat. And it may not happen in Paris. It may not happen. I'm not one of these Arsenal fans who's already looking forward to Barcelona Inter in the final. No, I know we got a huge set of matches coming up against Paris Saint-Germain. And I know it's not the same Paris Saint-Germain that we played earlier in the Champions League. Doesn't matter. What we did to Real Madrid, the holders of the Champions League title, the 15-time winners of the Champions League, what we did to them is embarrassing. I would be embarrassed if I was a Real Madrid fan. I would be fucking embarrassed, and you should be too. So let's get some of our other fans out here, because I know David, for one, doesn't have all the time in the world to talk to us tonight. But David, how are you, my friend?
Hey guys, how we doing? We're good. We're going up.
Yes, we're
going to get out of the junior leagues, as Lawrence would call them.
Yeah, he better be careful.
And
he better be careful.
You're going to show West Ham that West Ham are actually in the junior leagues.
We're going to put them where they belong. We'll send them back down to a tin pot league.
Yeah, I am happy to get 6 points off of Leeds United, but and Mark may be happy to get 6 points off of Leeds United, but West Ham, I guarantee you right now, will not get 6 points off of Leeds United.
Not if they play
I'll
like
put
they have
money
this
on
year.
it right now. Where's Mr. Tom's betting right now? Like, I guarantee West Ham will not beat Leeds United twice.
if we can win, if we can win a game, I mean, it's going to be ever so difficult next year. It's going to be ever so difficult. We're not quite there yet, but we're as good as 4 points from 3 games. I think it is. Yeah, 3 games. So I reckon we've got the Burnley Sheffield United game on Easter Monday. Frankly, I'd like that to be a draw.
Yeah, just a couple days.
Yeah. So I'd like that to be a draw, and then hopefully we can create a little bit of a league and go up as champions. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. You know.
I saw a I don't know where I saw it, but the price for Solomon seems pretty reasonable. I think I saw 17 million. You guys gonna hang on to him?
I personally think he would be a good buy. You know, he's had a good season. The worries that we had with him, of course, coming in on loan, was that he was injury prone. Well, okay, he's had a little bit of time on the sideline, but not much at all. And you know, he did go a little bit quiet for a few games, but then again, so did a few of the other players.
Right.
And there was probably a little bit of fatigue and a lack of rotation. But he's come good again. I mean, he is a class above the others. I saw him on his debut right at the beginning of the season, and immediately you thought, I mean, this lad's a little bit of a step up from the others. So I think it'd be a good buy. I think I saw 50, as you say, 17, 15, something
somewhere
like
in
that.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's not too much, is it? You know?
No.
So we'll see.
Before Tottenham, you have him on loan from where was Solomon? Was he at Fulham?
He
or
was
Bournemouth?
at Fulham. Yeah, he scored
was at
against
Fulham.
us. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, as I say, it's long. There's going to be a lot of changes, I feel, for next year. There has to be, because if not, we'll be coming back down. I mean, it's the gap just seems to be getting bigger and bigger. And even in the time that we've been away, and you see the teams come down, and you know, and the teams go up and coming back down, it's
I don't
going
want
to
to
be
see
difficult.
I don't want to see that for Leeds. I want them to reload and stay up, and you know, because there's a certain quality that Leeds have in their legacy and in their fan base that just makes the Premier League a little more exciting to watch, rather than these teams that pop up, you know, kind of in the same story as Leeds, where, you know, what was it? It was 14 years between when you were most recently brought up and before then
16,
it was
I think it was
16 years.
Yeah.
Mark, the poem is called 16 Years in the Dark. I mean, come
on. But you have like, you know, Ipswich had been up in a long time. You have Luton Town that hadn't been up in a long time. And there's some quality to those teams that you just like you like it. You like what they bring, and they're scrappy, but they're just not good enough. And I don't want to see that for Leeds, you know, the next time they're up.
The difference is,
and they are going up. There's no doubt about it anymore.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think the difference between us and those other clubs is that we're a big club. You know,
but don't tell Lawrence that.
Well, you know, the stats, shirt sales says it in one easy go how big a club we are, when we're the 7th biggest club of the UK clubs within Europe. You know,
right?
And we're 16th in Europe for shirt sales, which is crazy. But it just shows the size of the club, the scope of them. But, you know, a lot of it's going to be down to the 49ers and the scouting and the players they bring in, and being prudent with it's not all about money. It's also about being prudent with who you buy in and everything. But yeah, let's at the moment just enjoy the moment. That's what I say. The game.
Well, let me ask you, fellas. let me ask you fellas, in talking about Manor Solomon, honestly, if Leeds United are coming back, if Leeds United make it to the Premier League, if you were a player, would you go back to Tottenham as Manor Solomon, or would you stay with Leeds?
If I'm Manor Solomon, I'm staying at Leeds. I'm hoping to get bought. And the reason being is that I won't get the playing time at Spurs with who they have in my position. They're just he's
Mark.
just not going to get the playing time.
Exactly. Manor Solomon could become a player that other Premier League teams are very interested in if he continues with Leeds, who he has been working with and he's thriving with, and he is one of their best players, and he will get to play every single match in the Premier League. You go back to Tottenham, what do? You're going to start in front of Son? Because Solomon plays on the left, right? That's where Son plays.
Yeah.
You going to start in front of Son?
Yeah.
No. You going to start in front of Kulusevski? You going to start in front of Dominic Solanke? No.
Yeah.
So if I was Manor Solomon,
Spurs don't want him.
Yeah, not a
Spurs
chance.
want
I
him.
would
They've
stay
made-
right
they've
with
made
Leeds
it-
United.
They've made it clear that they don't want him anyway. So he's not our player. So, it could be that his head gets turned by another club, but we know that Everton have been sniffing round, and there'll be one or two other clubs, especially on the back of this season that he's had. And as I said earlier, the fact that he's not had the injuries that he's, sort of become infamous for. But yeah, no, I think he chose well in coming to Leeds. The club has suited him. I'd like to see him here. But I think we've got far bigger problems than worrying about our wing, because we've got some half decent wingers. I think we've got lots of changes in other areas, and it's going to have to be ruthless. Otherwise, you might as well just put up the white flag and come back down. But yeah,
it is.
Enjoy the moment. It's all about at the moment the next 3 games, and enjoy them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I definitely see the decisions that Leeds are going to have to make, and as far as their fan base is going to be no apologies. Sorry, guys, but he won't cut it. I don't watch enough Leeds to know. I don't expect Meslier to be on the team next season because I think he's just going to want to. He's like, look, I start. Either I do or I'm gone. Dan James obviously he's quality. He's gonna be with you guys next season. Isn't he player gonna be player of the year for the championship?
No, I think they. Yeah, well, he's been nominated. He's been nominated, hasn't he? He's been nominated from Leeds. Armour from Sheffield United. Good shout, but
I also think
he has moments, and Trafford for Burnley.
Trafford's probably the one that's going to get it. He's the keeper for Burnley, right?
Yeah,
he's good.
And again today he made some outstanding saves. I mean, he's a real good keeper. Real good. He'll be on the move to a different club. Such is the way when you're a selling club like we are.
Right.
Yeah. Scooby D2 says that he would prefer Jack Harrison. But Jack Harrison plays on the right to begin with.
Yeah.
So that's not a like for like. However, and then what he's saying is he works harder, he tracks back more, happy to take his man on and cross with the left foot, better than Solomon in both departments for me, more athletic. Jack Harrison would be fantastic back on Leeds United again.
He's not coming
However,
back.
We don't need to talk about that because it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Right now, he's thriving with Everton and he's finding a role with Everton. So I don't think that's even a conversation.
I mean, what they're saying about him is, sorry, Mark, what they're saying about him is that he's either going to stay at Everton or he's going to end up back in the MLS.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see him. He plays with such purpose at Everton, and is just like a relentless runner. I say that they do everything they can to hang on to him. I don't see him going anywhere.
Absolutely. David, let me ask you, what are your thoughts on the Champions League quarterfinals? We had all sorts of matches going on, but is there anything that stuck out to you with the Champions League quarterfinals?
Well,
Anything?
I know you want me to talk primarily about Arsenal.
Arsenal.
But no, it's a
No,
terrific. It was a
Inter.
terrific
Talk
performance.
Inter if you want. No, David, I just want your overall opinion. Your opinion matters so much to us because it's usually
I thought
valid.
Arsenal were spot on that. It's such a professional performance. Rice was absolutely massive. He's been massive in both the games, and he's just stepped up a whole new level. And the plaudits he got in the Spanish press the following day were massive, whilst they obviously castigated their own, as is the Spanish way. And I sort of see what they say about Arsenal not wanting to win the game in the first half, although Arsenal, as you say, did have shots on target and things like that, and a penalty miss, etc. But the thing was, Arsenal didn't have to win that game,
right?
By a huge amount of goals. They were already 3-0 up, so they did what they had to do, which they defended. They defended very resolutely. They were superbly drilled, and they didn't look phased. They didn't look under any pressure. Even when Real Madrid pulled the goal back, I mean, I was watching the game and I thought, so what? It's not going to make any difference, the fact that they've scored.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Lolo. It was nice that the second goal was scored, because it was nice to win. And I've said in the past that Real Madrid are my sort of Spanish team, but it was nice that Arsenal went there and they showed exactly how good they are. I think they've got a really good chance. I think they've got a very good chance.
I think a lot of people think that.
Yeah, they seem like they're suited for European football. We'll see.
Yeah. Lolo, we can't hear you.
It might be best.
Sorry. I appreciate that, David. And hearing it from you means something big. What's up, Capasso? Original cam op on the stoop. Mike Capasso in the house. But David, I appreciate what you're saying, because you tend to have a very balanced opinion, even if I don't like what you're saying a lot of times. But to hear you say that Arsenal have a shot at going all the way, that means something more than your generic Arsenal fan who would say that. But fuck off, Daniel. You too. But I what you're saying, how can you not start to think that, where what we've shown is a defense with some guys who can score a couple goals from who knows where, can go further than a team that is all offense. And that's what Real Madrid is. They're all offense. And if you can keep their offense quiet and score a cheeky goal here and there, a set piece goal, whatever, you got a better chance than if you're leaking goals. So this is why I feel an Inter-Arsenal final is in the cards, even though I think Barcelona is a better team than Inter. I think the way Inter play might be able to do something against Barcelona. because of their defensive capabilities.
Yeah.
If you look, the two defensive teams left are Arsenal and Inter. Arsenal, I hate to say it, but we are a defensive team. We don't have a striker. We don't have a freaking striker. Even though our false striker has a goal and 2 assists in the previous in the quarterfinals. So I don't know.
PSG are going to be difficult. I mean, they're a difficult proposition.
Not going to be easy.
But they can be rattled. They can be rattled, as we saw the other night. And maybe they're a little bit lucky to still be in the competition. Because I did think the result was going to go the other way in the second half the other night. But I think after 45 minutes of the first tie, which of course was going to be at the Arsenal, then I think we'll have a good idea of how good Arsenal's chances are. I think the first 45 minutes will set the stall for the next, for the 2 ties. But yeah, I'll keep my fingers crossed for you.
Well, and here's the question, because there was a huge question going into the second leg. Arsenal played so well in the first leg against Real Madrid, 3-0, even though 2 of those were set pieces. So let's even call it 1-0. 1-0 from open play. The way we did that was by being aggressive, by pressing, and by attacking. And also having a solid defense somehow. So the second leg, had we gone out, and I think if this was last season or the season before, Mikel Arteta would have gone out super defensive. And Real Madrid would have had more than enough opportunities to equalize or maybe remontada. I think Arteta has grown as a manager. And he saw that, you know what? Now's not the time for me to outthink them. I already outthought them once and was correct. Let's go and play nearly the same exact match and take them on, which gives me hope for PSG of going like, okay, now we're against PSG. They're super good at counterattacking. They have so many crazy playmakers up front. Maybe we should sit back and just not let them score at home. We walk away with a 0-0. Maybe we could win it in Paris. I don't think that's Arteta's thinking now. Now I think Arteta has a bit more belief in his squad and goes, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go out and play our football in game 1 at home. And we're going to win that game.
I think it's imperative that they do have a good start and they're at least 1 or 2 up for the second leg. I think that's imperative because PSG, I think, are a better side than that Madrid side. And as I said on my comment the other night to you on the text, and it's not taking anything away from the Arsenal performance, which was superb, but that Real Madrid team is a poor team. And it's not because of the lack of players, it's that they're not a team.
DX nailed it right here.
And Courtois said it as well. It's, when he was interviewed, Courtois said, we are a team of fantastic individuals that just do not know how to play as a team.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's absolutely right there with about Mbappe.
And how like I'm sorry, but like Bellingham just acted as if like he just didn't want to be there. He just always just had like this, he was super frustrated, and you've got people that you can work with. You don't have to be, you don't have to be that way because it permeates to other players and other team, the rest of the team. When you see that
what I found strange?
Attitude.
You know what I found strange, Mark, is that it's the first time I can ever say that I've seen Real Madrid just swinging the ball in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they were reduced to, just swinging the ball in. But it wasn't as though they had a Benzema in the middle who could get on the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it just showed that they are lacking a lot. They're lacking a lot. They need to. I mean, I'm sure we will see them in the market,
Of course.
and they'll buy up some major stars, and they'll be knocking on the door again next year.
When they get that new right back. What's his name? Terry. Is that his name?
Who?
Terry Trent D'Arby.
Terrence Trent D'Arby.
Yeah,
Terrence Trent
D'Arby.
D'Arby.
Is
deep cut, Mark. That's a deep cut, and that's only for us. Not millennial. Gen X, Gen Z. What are we? I don't know.
I have no fucking idea.
Terrence Trent D'Arby. Wow. Good one. I think you mean Trent Alexander-Arnold.
And that's who that is.
But I am now forever calling him Terrence Trent D'Arby. I think what was the song he sang as well? Like, what was his one-hit song? Waterfall.
I think so. No,
a bit high pitched, wasn't it? If I remember correctly.
It wasn't Waterfall. It was Wishing Well. Wishing Well.
Wishing well, I kiss and tell. Wishing
That's the
well.
one.
Oh, wishing well. Oh,
Hey,
Stan the man. While we're talking Terrence Trent D'Arby, of course, Stan the man shows up. You probably knew Terrence Trent D'Arby, didn't you?
His first song was it Dance Little Sister?
No,
Dance Little Sister.
Yeah.
That might have been his first
hit. Says, I just remember Wishing Well.
Yeah.
Can I say something to Stan? I wish to say something to Stan.
Yeah. Scooby D2 said it right here, Stan.
Stan,
Wishing well and Dance Little Sister.
Your young man, Lewis Skelly. He's come of age, hasn't he? What a player.
Dude.
What a player. The other night, he's 18 years old, and he looks more at home in the Bernabeu than the Real Madrid players did.
What I like about him as well is that he got a lot of heat recently, didn't he, when he done the Haaland celebration? And
listen, I was the one who, me as well. You and I had this conversation, didn't we? But since then, you know what? Since he got sent off, I think he's sort of calmed down a bit, and he's just letting his football show how good he is. And it's, you know, he's sticking two fingers up to everybody. Love it.
I was going to say, as well as being a young man, you know, sort of like pushed into the first, thrown into the first team in big competitions, which must be a lot of pressure. He's had that added heat, which, you know, a lot of pundits were talking about him, you know, in that light about his attitude and stuff. But he still managed, on top of that, to come through it.
Yeah,
it says quite a lot about his character. I think, you know, some people could have wilted a little bit. It could have buckled a little bit under that pressure, and he seems to have. He carries it on his shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, Rice was the man of the match for me the other night, but he was closely followed by Lewis Skelly. He was just superb.
I want to know who Lolo was calling. The bullpen or something?
Yeah. I was calling to see who was up next.
Making a house call.
Yeah, hello? Domino's? No, I didn't order Domino's. Yeah, hit the buzzer. Anyway, yes, Miles Lewis Skelly. He is coming into his own. And then did you see him after the game? After the game, he was staring at the Real Madrid fans, and he was going, "Vamos, vamos, vamos." And then, like, he's a player that loves the shit talking element of the game, which is something I feel like as these young players are being molded from 7 years old, 5 years old, and it's all football. You got to be better. You got to be the best. You got to be the best. You got to be the best. And then we get a bunch of robots coming out who are really good at football, but they don't know football. Miles Lewis-Skelly, to me, knows football and what it matters. The fact that he was riding and wearing the number 7 or something his whole time, or I forget what number he was wearing in under 21s, under 18s, under 12s, whatever he's playing. But then he joins the first team, and Miles Lewis-Skelly picks 49 as his kit number to start. If you're not an Arsenal fan, you may not know what that means. But now we all sing 49, 49 Lewis-Skelly, because we all used to sing 49, 49 undefeated because we went 49 games undefeated. That kid is Arsenal through and through. That kid knows the shit talking. He knows that his goal was so important, but the fact that he sat down and did the Holland celebration was more important than all of that. The fact that he played the way he did and balled out the way he did and then talked shit to Real Madrid fans in a very calm way. He wasn't disrespectful. That to me is like, this kid knows ball. This kid knows football. Am I wrong, Stan? Am I wrong? I mean,
it's nice to have characters in the game.
Yes.
Have a little bit of that. Obviously there is a line. Jamie Vardy is a similar character. Kind of happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, yes.
Likes to have a bit of banter. Do you know what I mean? He's not deliberately going out of his way to hurt anyone or stamp anyone or do anything like that. He's just giving it back, and he takes it as well. So, I don't mind a little bit of that. It's good to see characters in the game. And he's also very lucky as well that he's experiencing that at such a young age. And he has a partner in crime with Ethan Waneri, who is another young star that I think at some point
younger than him
is gonna, but I think he's also gonna be able to forge his way into the England setup as well. So
he's already played for England, hasn't he?
I don't know.
Did he play in the last game?
Not at
Did
senior.
he not?
Waneri hasn't. Skelly did.
Skelly has.
Waneri, when Skelly was playing for the real team, Waneri was playing for the under 21s or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought you played
Waneri
in the last
hasn't.
game.
Waneri hasn't broke through. Lewis-Skelly did, and I'm right there with who said that? Ryan G. I was expecting Waneri to be the standout young talent this season, but Skelly has been Skelly took that left back spot and he made it his own. Who comes back and takes that spot right now? Calafiori, we're all saying he's not fit, and I'm saying he's not fit enough to take the spot from Lewis-Skelly.
Yeah.
My only fear
If we didn't have Lewis-Skelly, Waneri, Calafiori would have started injured.
My only
But
fear is
Lewis-Skelly took that spot.
he's a midfielder by trade. I've not watched. I'm not going to sit here and say that I've watched him at the youth level because I haven't. But I understand he's a midfielder at trade, and it's a little bit like what happened with Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who the only way that he could get into the first team was to play at fullback, which he complained about quite a lot. Was quite vocal about that, and yet again we see the character of a Skelly who's just keeping his head down. He's using that as his pathway to get into the first team, and he's not complaining about it. My only concern is that is he going to get locked into that position? Is there ever going to be a way that we get an opportunity to see him playing in his natural position? Because it's the same with Saka, right? Saka grew from a fullback position. I think initially was a left winger and then was moved to the right wing because initially he was on the left all of the time. So I just hope that Skelly doesn't get locked in there, that we're able to free him up.
But Stan, the whole Saka thing came from a necessity of we needed to fill holes.
But we have got
and Lewis-Skelly may be similar to that. However, a right back in Arteta's system is more of a right-sided 6. It's not a right back. Left back. Left-sided 6.
They're wing backs, aren't they? They're wing backs.
Yeah, he's a wing back. He's not even a wing back. because I would put that more on Martinelli and Saka, who are having to be wing backs. Skelly is more of a left side. Skelly took the Zinchenko role and made it his own, and Zinchenko's on the fucking bench. The role that we call a Zinchenko role is he's on the fucking bench.
Inverted fullback.
Oh, Lolo.
What's up, Mo? What's up, Mo Master? How you doing? ¿Qué tal, tío? ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal la vida? La vida. ¿Qué tal? No, he's not going to talk to me. So I hear what you're saying, Stan. I don't mind him staying in that role because an Arteta left back is more of where he was playing anyway under Per Mertesacker and Jack Grealish. You know, as the managers, not the players.
Yeah, I do
know
think
what I mean?
all of the left backs that we've tried to use in that way, and we've tried it with nearly all of them, he does look the best equipped to carry it out.
Yeah,
He reminded me of an Ashley Cole. You know that? That's who he reminds me of. And Ashley Cole
The
was a
way
player
he
and a half. But I
runs
think
the
this
ball
guy might
through-
even be better. You know?
And there he goes.
What
Maybe he
do you
should,
reckon?
Maybe
What do
he
you
should
reckon?
grab that phone and put it on a modem or something like that, you know? Just run the phone
Little
line
dial-up.
into his, you know, a dial-up, exactly. We'll just hear that. So Lewis Skelly's natural position is midfield?
Yeah, I
Is
understand.
that true?
Yeah.
So he'll just move into Partey's spot when Partey leaves the team next year? Because isn't Partey's contract up?
Well, I'm looking at it more of the hole that was left by Xhaka, who in that last season came into his own and was playing more of a box-to-box role where he was helping out in a defensive side, but he was also able to have an engine where he would pop up in and around the penalty area, have shots, and get involved in the goal side. And I'm wondering if that's a role that Skelly could do, because he's shown us that defensively he can handle that part of the game. And also,
for sure.
when you're playing at left back, he's starting his runs at a much deeper place. But if he's further up the pitch and he's starting those runs, it may take him into the box more, where he can get on that creative side. So I'm thinking that at some point, could he not move into that left 8 role, box to box? But then again, there's an argument that Declan Rice seems to be fitting into that role as becoming more of a box to box player than just an all out DM, right?
We've definitely seen that in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah. He stepped up, and
So, Mr. Marky Mark, you just hit a big point that I wanted to bring up later, but let's bring it up now. Thomas Partey got a stupid yellow card.
Yeah.
And that keeps him out of the first leg of the PSG match. So a lot of Arsenal fans are talking about that. Do you move Skelly in there? So, Mark, I'm going to ask you, if you were Mikel Arteta right now, same team that faced Real Madrid, but you don't have Partey, what do? Do you put Skelly in the middle and bring in Zinchenko, bring in Calafiori, somebody to cover that left side? Or because we don't have Jorginho as well. Jorginho is out for the season.
Is he? I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I did not realize he's out. Yeah. Then by necessity, the same necessity that caused Arteta
or do you bring
to move
Marino down? Because that's Marino's role.
I understand that, but you don't
He's
have
not a
anyone
fucking striker.
I mean, you move Mourinho to Partey's spot, you keep Skelly where he's at because he's just I think the drop off is bigger from Skelly to Zinchenko than say, moving Mourinho back, and then you can start Trossard. You're a little thin, but that's what I would do. Trossard goes to
I don't know,
9.
Miss Molina.
Marino to the mid. You keep Skelly where he's at because, just for me, and maybe I'm wrong, more times than not I am, but you're at a real crucial point, and the kid is still a kid, although he's shown wonderful maturity and wonderful technique and athleticism. But what is would he be moved out of a comfort zone, an area that he's comfortable in? Now I'm doing this in an even bigger game. Do you understand what I'm getting at? Yeah. I think that moving Skelly forward creates maybe the ability to make a mental error because you're used to being in one spot, and now you're being asked to do it. You're not being asked to do this against Ipswich. You're being asked to do this against PSG
in a semifinal.
There's a lot of experience on that team, and I would stick with what works. I move Marino back. I start Trossard.
I was going to say, who would you drop into left back?
Many minutes out of those guys.
And I think that, David, to answer your question, I think that's what Mark's saying is do not fuck with a back four. Do not fuck with this back four of Timber, Kivior, Saliba, and Miles Lewis-Skelly. Do not fuck with that. That is working. And if Lolo was just saying defenses are winning this Champions League right now, this season, do not fuck with your back four that held Real Madrid to 0. Yes, they got a goal, but I'm calling that Saliba owns that goal. The back four does not own that goal. Saliba owns that goal. Araya kind of owns that goal a little bit as well. Yeah, Raya. Okay, Raya owns that goal a little bit. But what I'm saying is that that goal is not part of the plan. That's not part of the setup or anything like that. I'm right there, Mark. I think that is a badass analysis you just gave there, and you got a lot of people agreeing with you as well, because Miss Molina was even saying, hi Miss Molina, good to see you as well, saying that it's going to be Marino dropping down, Trossard up top. So you're right there with it, Mark. I don't like that, and that's not particularly what I want. But Stan, what do you want?
There is an outside chance, apparently, that Kai Havertz could be back by then as well. So
do not do that
by next week.
Do not do that.
He was asked about it in the press conference. I didn't watch all of the press conference that they were talking, but there was talk about a possibility. If that happens, then that answers all of the questions. Then because Marino can drop back.
No, it does not. No, it doesn't answer the questions. Stan, come on. You can't start. Havertz.
I'm not going to mess with the back four, but I mean, if Havertz is available, then that allows us to have a choice between Trossard and him, with Mourinho dropping back into the midfield. And I would put Declan Rice as the 6 if Partey's not available, rather than Mourinho. I'd have Rice as the 6 and Mourinho as the 8 next to Odegaard. But then we've also got Wanyeri, who's available, that can play in the middle as well. So there are options.
But the one area, the problem to me is Wanyeri pushes Declan Rice back, and Declan Rice has been so good.
But we don't have Partey. That's
so good moving
forward.
And
I just think that Rice is the next one defensively after who's good in that position.
So we lose Rice completely. We lose Rice as the difference maker.
He can still go. He's very good at, even when he plays deep. One of the things that he does, he might not have some of the passing that Partey has from that position, but he's very good at gobbling up ground with the feet at his, the ball at his feet, and getting the ball up the pitch. He's very good at doing that, and he can do that from deep. But one of the things that I've always felt though as well is that I don't understand why if we find ourselves getting into the middle of the game, and Odegaard is having a stinker, which he has quite a lot this season. I've never understood why he can't be hooked and substituted for Wanyeri on 55 minutes or 60 minutes. You know, all because he's been covering for Saka on the right-hand side, he's another one whose natural position is more in the centre in that Odegaard role. But we never see that. Even though Odegaard's having a stinker, he'll keep him on to the death. You know, he won't swap him out for one area and try and put another creative person in there, which is something that I'd like to see if Odegaard's not having a good one, which he hasn't recently.
Do you think that's because of that yellow band around his arm?
See, I was going to bring that up too.
Yeah, but I mean, you can look at it at West.
I mean, is that the only reason? Why else wouldn't you?
David Noble was their captain, and he was getting really later on in years. He couldn't play if he started the game to 90 minutes. So invariably, he would be taken out. Someone else would be given the armband, and you know David Noble would do what he could do. And it shouldn't be the same for us with Odegaard. There's other people on the pitch who, if Odegaard's withdrawn and say 55, 60 minutes, there's other people on the pitch that can take up the armband. It's not just a one-man show of leadership, and he's quite an introverted leader anyway. He's not a shouter.
Yeah, he is.
You know, it's not like Roy Keane or Vieira. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you're taking them out. Someone else. Declan Rice could put the armband on after Odegaard, right?
Easily.
There you go.
He should. He should. As soon as we signed Declan Rice, I think the majority of Arsenal fans were like, he will be our captain. Declan Rice will be our captain. And then Martin Odegaard started showing up and showing out. So I don't know. It's been a rough season for Odegaard, and I am a huge Odegaard supporter. However, it has been very rough, and even though he was very critical in the first goal that we scored, he was right there with it. You know, he's one of the main reasons that goal happened. However, there were 3 or 4 times during the match where you're like, yo, a better ball gets us through. A better ball gets us in on goal. We all saw it with the pass to Martinelli, where we're on a break and Real Madrid is walking. And here comes Martinelli, and the pass is behind him and goes out of bounds. That's not good. It's not good, especially from our captain. Especially against the team that you fucking came from. Make that pass. Make that goddamn pass. God, I wanted to beat them by 5 in the second leg. I wanted to beat them by 5. I don't know about you.
Oh, come on. You got what you wanted. You got through. That's all that matters. That's it. That's all that matters. You get through. And now you have a whole different team to worry about and playing for. And I think you guys do better than a lot of people are going to give you credit for.
Oh, I love these comments, Mo. If Madrid would have won, it would have been like any other game. It was like any other game for you guys. Walking the fucking pitch and not winning. So, yeah, it was like most games for you these fucking days. Walking around the pitch expecting to get calls, and then you didn't get the calls. Fucking hate Real Madrid. Yeah, we waited 20 years for a semifinal, and we got it. So we're happy. Yeah, winner, chicken dinner. Anyway, I'm on like old comments. Anyway, Stan, overall, how did you feel about those 2 legs?
Might be old comments, but you're in a 1950s kitchen too. So.
Yeah, I am, and they haven't even gotten here yet. Stan, overall, 2 legs.
The first game is the one for me. I mean, because going into that game, I was pretty sure that Madrid were either going to school us or it would go through as maybe a 1-0 either way to the next round. I did not see what was coming. You know, I didn't know that Declan Rice had that in his locker. And when he stood up for the second free kick, I wasn't really that excited because I was kind of thinking, well, there's no way that you're going to top what you just did. So
that's what I thought.
This is probably going to get deflected off of the wall or something like that. You know, I'm still sort of like thinking about the first one. And then he goes and does it again. And probably better than the first one. You know, where does that come from? And apparently with the first one as well, you know, the instruction was from the set piece coach that it was supposed to be a ball towards the back post. And I like the way that Declan and Saka had a chat with each other and overrode that because they felt it was on. And the other one backed him and said, if you think it's on, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like that sort of out of the box thinking. And I think that's something that Mikel Arteta is trying to instill more into the team. What's that new slogan that we have? What is it? What is it? There's a slogan that we've got. It's appearing on a lot of them on the posters and stuff. It's something like "You make it better. You can make it better," or something like that. And it sounds like it's more aimed at the actual players, about being players on the pitch. You know, you've got your instructions, but if you
can make it better.
You should be able to use your own mind in the game to change things as you see it and go for it, you know?
Right.
I love this, Mo Master. That won you the game, those free kicks, or it was only 1-0? 1-0, and then what about the second leg? Do we go through? Do we go through with a 1-0 win in that first leg? I think we do, Mo. I think we do, Mo. No, the game would be different. No, it wouldn't because y'all play like shit. And here's the thing. Y'all played so shit. I feel like we're not ready for PSG because we should have been playing some Champions League caliber teams. And y'all were not. Don't get me started, Mark. Mark, you talk to these fucking people before I get in trouble.
I say we have our little bio break.
Who needs a bio break?
1 hour
Me?
mark.
I went like 4 times already. All right. You're right. It is time for a bio break. Guys, we are at halfway point this time in this show. And Mo Master, he's just getting cooking. Here we go. All right, Mo, let's go to the second half of the show. And Mo, we will send you the link. You can call in and talk about your terrible team all you want to talk about. We will let that happen. But tonight is a night for Leeds. Excuse me, I burped. Tonight is a night for Leeds United. They have come back to the top of the league. So we're going to take a quick break. We will be back in 3 minutes and 6 seconds. So if you need to use a restroom, please do so now or don't. And we will be back in 3 minutes. So thank you guys for the first half of the show. We'll be right back.
Here's a question. When you guys were in the desert that was the championship for 16 years, did you watch any Premier League games?
No. I didn't watch any of them. Fuck them. I didn't watch a single minute of a Premiership match. Swear to God. I didn't give a shit.
I must admit, or anything like that.
No, I still don't watch. I don't watch anything but Leeds, mate. Nothing but Leeds. That's it. And that's all I care about.
I must admit, I'm with James this season. This season, I've struggled to watch other games.
Bielsa watches everybody. You should too.
No, and what I really hate is like people like talk about, oh, that was a great match, man. That was a great match. And it wasn't even involving your club. I mean, no one cares. No, I don't care about that, man. No one care. I don't care about anything that doesn't involve Leeds.
All right. So in the last 15 years,
I fucking love you, James.
I love Leeds. I love Leeds.
How many times have you watched?
I love Leeds. Full stop.
So
Full stop, mate. I love Leeds. I don't give a fuck about anybody else.
15 years? Like, is that what you're saying? Like, you didn't. Did you watch Lionel Messi or Ronaldo or anyone?
No, nobody watched that.
No, don't care. I don't care. I only care about Leeds.
That's fucking insane.
I don't even know who those people are. Who are they?
How do you know how
Lionel Richie and someone? I can't remember. What did you say?
James.
I'm in a bubble, mate. I'm in a bubble. It's called the Leeds bubble. I'm there. I'm here to stay. I signed up for this 40 years ago, and I'm not leaving. It's the 40 years.
I wanted to ask you, James.
Leeds bubble. I don't give a fuck about any other team.
No.
I really don't.
Well, in that case,
you on the
today's
stream.
one.
I hate them all. I hate them all
because we scored it.
Varying degrees of hatred.
Right. But
it's
seriously,
going to make me hate you?
See, James, that's the thing is you think that like bothers James at all? James expects he expects that you hate Leeds. He comes.
I want you to hate Leeds.
Exactly.
I want you to hate us.
you know,
After this I don't want you to like us, any of you.
Beat you.
No. Look, I love your hatred, man. I feed off of it. I feed off your hatred like any Leeds fan does. We don't give a fuck. You hate us and we don't give a fuck.
Yes, sir. All right, David. I think David's heading out. All right. Well, let's get to it. You guys want to see some bets from Mr. Tom? I think we have them, even though he's not with us today. So let's get into some betting in the dark with Mr. Tom.
Betting in the dark with Mr. Tom.
Come on, love. Place your bets.
So once again, these are bets put together by Mr. Tom for the weekend. And these bets are made for you to make a ton of money. But they're also crazy bets. And so please do not make these bets. But if you do, these $1 bets, £1 bets will turn into hundreds of pounds, I am sure. All right, so let's get to that first one. What do we got? Oh, brought to you by Murder Gun. Oh. All right, we have Aston Villa versus Newcastle. Newcastle to win 3-2. Jacob Murphy to score first. Marcus Rashford to score. That will get you £318 if you bet one. What do you guys think about this bet?
$319.
It's not bad. It's all very doable.
I mean,
all very doable. Newcastle are the informed team at the moment. They're very informed, aren't they, in the league?
Mm-hmm.
Rashford's looking good for them as well. Rashford's looking good for Aston Villa. And Murphy, he's putting the ball in the back of the net. While, what's his name's been out? Gordon.
Yeah. Is he out for the season, Anthony Gordon?
No, he's coming
or is he just out for the
play his way back into the team?
Is he got that red card?
Yeah,
and hasn't been able to fit back in. Yeah, I'd take this. Why not? I'd almost put Rashford to score first, but with his, he may not start this weekend because he started versus PSG.
Yeah, get taken on.
That's an interesting shout, Mark. However, they are now out of the Champions League, and all they have left to play for is that 4th or 5th place finish, which means they need to win this game. So if you're Unai Emery, do you start Marcus Rashford or do you start Ollie Watkins? But Rashford could come off the bench and score a goal to bring it back from 3-1 to 3-2. So
does he not play them both? Has he not played both Rashford and Watkins? Is that just too much up there? Isn't Rashford traditionally a winger?
Yeah, exactly. You can do. It's doable.
You can do, but he hasn't been doing.
I know, but man, why not? Do it. It's just like why his hesitation when he had Duran. He didn't play Duran and Watkins at the same time. Or Duran, whatever his name was.
Guys, I'm going to have to leave now because it's my missus' birthday. And
happy birthday, missus!
Oh,
thank you, birthday dinner. But I just wanted
say
to
hi to the missus.
I will.
Thanks for coming on.
It's a short one.
Stan.
But I'll see you
soon. All right, cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
All right. Well, all right.
Well, all right.
Let's see. What's next? Ipswich Town versus the Arsenal. If you would, we have this lovely bet. Of course, Mr. Tom has picked the Tractors to beat Arsenal 2-1. In fact, I think that at the start of the season, Mr. Tom said that Ipswich was going to be the invincible team. But we do have
them to win every
week. Ipswich fighting for their lives. Mr. Tom has them beating the Arsenal 2-1 with D-Lap scoring first and Saka to have an anytime goal. A quid, as y'all call it, a pound will get you 254.58, which translates to 255.58p, or if you're a U.S. bettor like myself, 339.12. No, this is not. I just don't see this happening. There was a once upon a time where Ipswich was pretty tough at home. I think they've lost their last 5 at home. It would be one hell of a hangover letdown, but I don't see that happening. I could see D-Lap scoring first. I could see certainly Saka to score at any time. He could score right now. But that's a whole different show. But this is one that Ipswich needs, absolutely needs it. If they lose and Wolves and West Ham win, West Ham plays Southampton, we get Man United. If both teams win, I believe that will automatically relegate the entire table. I think it would be over if Wolves and West Ham win. That would be, and if those teams lose, I don't know who Leicester City's playing. Leicester, I think is Leicester playing Liverpool? I don't know, but no. This is a, as much as Ipswich needs this, Arsenal's taking care of business. And I could even see a 3-0 with Rice and Saka scoring in this. I'm gonna shush it up, you know.
Yeah, I don't. As bad as Arsenal have been in the league, we're not losing games. Yeah,
definitely not.
I could see a 1-1, 2-2.
Sure.
I think if you would put this as a draw.
But no, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. much bigger, burlier, faster, quicker, smarter team in the visitor side.
Mo Master, what do you mean our team is not in a better place? Then when? Then when? All right, let's go to the next one. Let's see.
Yeah,
Leicester City versus Liverpool. We have Leicester City to win 2-0. Jamie Vardy to score 2-0. Leicester have been giving up goals like crazy.
And they can't score at home.
How is this only paying 117? Like, this is insane.
I see what I can muster up. I thought it would be much higher just because Leicester can't score at home. So to pick them not only to score 1 but 2 at home, I would think it would push it up a lot higher.
And Liverpool don't give up that many goals. Yes, they give up the odd goal every other game, but they still find a way to win.
Right.
I just don't see this at all. I'm not even going to take a photo of this one, Mr. Tom. I'm sorry. I am not placing this bet. Especially because, like, the payout is not, poor Cyril. He's getting
Vardy is
by
biting
Jamie
his ass.
Vardy somehow.
He's eating his ass.
So again, I give it. He's got it 2-0, and Vardy to score. Yeah, it's like a $1.80. It's 185 to 1. So it's a little higher now than what it was.
I still think that's very low. The payout isn't enough because it's not. This is not fucking happening.
Yeah, I would actually. No, Leicester's just so. They're so poor. They've gone. They haven't won at home since January. They haven't scored at home since February. I mean, this is just their product. If I was a Leicester fan, I would be pissed. Their product is shit. And I can't imagine who they fired Steve Cooper for this.
Yeah, and I think Liverpool need 5 points to win the league. So them against Leicester, they're thinking 3.
They got to get it
3
done.
points is ours. Unless they're trying to do some sort of dodgy shit where they win the league playing against Arsenal, which I think would only take one more game. If they fuck something up,
backfire.
Yeah, it could backfire, but Arsenal are not anywhere near winning the league. Arsenal are 100% focused on Champions League.
Yeah, but given their remaining schedule, they can concentrate on both. Liverpool is not in. You think
we should have concentrated? We drew our last 2 games, man.
Everything I read says that there's still a possibility that Arsenal could pull it out.
Liverpool would have to lose out, and Arsenal would have to win out. At this point, there's 6 games. There's 18 points between us. We're 13 behind them. They would have to lose out.
Well, I mean,
and it's not going to happen. They've only lost 2 games this entire season.
Well, I'm just saying. Anything's
You're
possible.
saying there's a chance, and I love it. I love
there's
it,
a
Mark.
chance, and I've stood by that for quite a while.
I love it, Mark. However, it's not gonna fucking happen.
All right. We'll timestamp
Mark.
this one at
Mark, no. Mark, right now, I know you have your fucking betting app open. Open it up and put a $1 bet on Arsenal winning the league. It's not worth the $1 bet, to be honest, because they're probably still only saying like 10-1 or something.
Yeah, they don't have that
in my betting app.
Futures. You have to look at futures.
I thought I did.
They might not have it because it's not going to fucking happen.
Right. No, probably not, but there's
something about it.
There's something about it.
All right, let's go to the Magic 3. No correct scores. Let's go for Newcastle to win, Ipswich to win, and Leicester to win. That means Arsenal lost, Liverpool lost, and Aston Villa lost. I still think this should be more.
You would think. You would think. Don't waste your $1.27, Lolo. And he's gone. So the Magic 3. No correct scores here. If you were to take them all together, Newcastle winning, Ipswich winning, Leicester City winning, and throw a pound on it, you get 160 or 264, which is a hell of a payout. And this is, I'm going to put this in that category of anything can happen. Anything is possible. But I guess that's why it's called the Magic 3, because you got to believe in magic for it to happen. I seem to have lost my partner in grime. And I guess Lucy just came home.
I'm right.
Lucy, you got a lot of explaining to do.
You got a lot of explaining to do.
Little Ricky is screwing with the internet.
Exactly. So that is betting in the dark, folks. And just be
that's
aware
betting in the dark.
That is betting in the dark, and we do not encourage you to place any of those bets. But should you do, please let us know if you do tweak them or if you do win. Was that 4-1 for Man United versus Wolves? No, we win that. We're winning that one.
Mark, what's your bet on Wolves? Wolves United?
I'm gonna take Wolves. I'm going with Strand Larson. I'm going with the hot hand, Strand Larson to score, and I'll throw Cunha a goal or an assist.
That would be my bet.
Strand Larson to score and Cunha to score or assist? That'll probably get you what? $13?
I don't know. If I could get my betting app to work.
Okay. Well, guys, we are in the last half hour of the show here, so I know what I want to talk about, which is all Arsenal. We also have a ton of Premier League matches coming up this weekend. We have other Champions League matches that we could talk about. So in the comment section right now, put in the comment section, what do you guys want us to discuss for the last half hour of this show? I suppose we also have Leeds United, but maybe you don't want an Arsenal fan and a Wolves fan talking about Leeds United for the last 30 minutes of the show. However, we can. We can also talk about Steven Seagal movies. Mark knows all of those.
Oh God, I don't think I can honestly say. I've ever seen a Steven Seagal movie. I really don't think I have.
Well, then the other one I was going to offer was a Virgil Van Damme movie. And then I realized that's not his name. His name is Jean-Claude Van Damme, not Virgil Van Damme. But maybe he should be called Virgil Van Damme from now on because he fucking elbows people to the face nonstop and never gets carded.
I think there's a lot of things a lot of different players get away with, and it's just the nature. I guess in the end of, when it's all said and done, it all evens out, I guess. I have no fucking idea. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the player on my team last season getting a yellow card for aggressive running. That was the
Mark. I thought you were gonna talk about the player on your team who fingered an Arsenal player and didn't even get a card for it. So a vigorous fingering is clearly not a yellow card offense. Yeah, finger that like button if you don't mind.
On the team? Is he even on the team anymore?
That was what's his name?
I don't know.
Your guy.
I remember it very clearly. Because I was like,
it happened to Jesus, who is now injured from his butthole. His butthole is injured from being vigorously fingered on the pitch.
He got his butthole torn.
Virgil Van Damme.
Tor's butt. Who was it? I don't think he's even on the squad anymore.
No, that was your guy. He's a right back. He got like suspended the next match. And we're like, yeah, he should have got suspended for rape. Because he fucking finger banged Gabriel Jesus. And Gabriel Jesus got a yellow card. Talk about victim blaming. It was insane.
Yeah,
I love that you have to look up your players.
Dude, that match was like months ago.
Years ago, even.
No, it was this year, I want to say.
Once again, the victim remembers, and the perpetrator is like, I don't even remember when that happened.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
It was just another fucking night for me when I groped somebody. Gabriel Kit Kat Jesus. No buttholes, Lolo. Do a UCL prediction. All right. The first person who has asked us to talk about something, Mark, I want to hear your UCL predictions, my friend. We have Barcelona versus Internazionale. And then we have Arsenal versus PSG. Mark, give me your predictions.
I do think Barcelona goes to the final. I think they take care of Inter. They just look so crisp and clean, and their passing is on point. They've got weapons up front. They can defend. I'm not saying that that they're the greatest defenders, but they can defend. Ryan G saying 4-2 over 2 legs. Hey, sure. That sounds very, very reasonable. And I'll go one more goal for Barcelona and one more goal for Inter. I'll say it's going to be a 5-3 aggregate. Arsenal and PSG. Arsenal has the advantage of playing the first leg at home, much like they did against Real.
Not an advantage.
I think it's an advantage. It definitely wasn't an advantage against Real. To play first and play in front of your fans and get that momentum and get those goals.
Possibly.
I do think it's an advantage.
Possibly.
Rather than it being the other way around and having to possibly have to come from behind. I'm just saying it certainly can play either way, but I do think starting out at home and then going to the away it offers better opportunity than the other way around. I'm just saying. I don't know enough about PSG. You guys played them earlier in the league. You beat them 1-0, or was it the other way around?
We beat them. No, more than 1-0. I forget what it was, but we beat them comfortably. They were in a shit place at the time. To be fair to them, they were not the PSG that beat Liverpool. They were not the PSG that beat Aston Villa. So I feel like we're playing a brand new team. I actually don't. Maybe a tiny bit of knowledge about who they are because we played them. Mm-hmm. But they're such a different team that I feel like it's a brand new tie. Like that one game win that we have over them doesn't do it for me. Ryan G says Arsenal won 2-0. Yeah, but PSG, they didn't have Gravadana, Fabian Ruiz or Dembele. Yeah, Dembele didn't play. All these people. So it was not the proper team. And I think the first leg having Thomas Partey out, he's been crucial. And Mark, you and I know from being there, we did not rate Thomas Partey as highly going into that match that you and I walked into the stadium to watch 3 seasons ago. You and I walked into a North London derby at the Emirates, and we rated Thomas Partey here. You and I watched a match and rated him here. Even though he scored, the scoring didn't matter. You and I saw what we don't see on camera.
Correct.
You and I saw a midfielder that was just every time Spurs kicked the ball away, it went right to him. Why? Because he was in the perfect spot.
It's gonna hurt not having him on the pitch.
It's gonna hurt more. You're correct, Mark. It's gonna hurt more than we understand, and there's no simple solution. There's no drop Declan Rice back. We drop Declan Rice back, we lose the Declan Rice that we've had over the past 2 legs.
Right. But you know what? It seems like for every challenge within the squad, not necessarily the teams you're playing, but every challenge within the squad as far as injuries go and falling out of form, that you guys have somehow scraped together. There we are. Scraped together something that works. I mean, before Real, before the matches against Real, how many people out there thought that we lose Gabriel, we have to replace him with Kiwior? It's so frightening to think about what Mbappe could be able to do back there. And you guys persevered. And you did it. I think that against PSG and not having Partey for the first leg, you're going to have to juggle around whatever that is. But you guys have certainly risen to the challenges. And I don't expect anything less here. You know, it will be tough.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. It'll be very tough. And I think you're 100% correct, Ryan. Ryan G, who said Partey missing the first leg as well as massive. PSG have a top midfield. And that is a huge element of the Real Madrid tie. Is that we won the midfield left, right, and center. Our midfield beat their midfield. Our back line went into midfield indiscriminately. Miles Lewis Skelly was running into the infield. into the midfield for no reason sometimes. And I think you're absolutely spot on, Ryan. PSG's midfield is not the Real Madrid midfield. PSG is stronger in midfield. They are weaker in the back and weaker in the front, even though both of those are very strong. I would say Madrid is stronger up front, maybe level in the back. But the midfield is where we owned it. Imagine if Real Madrid had the Frankie de Jong, Gavi, Pedri sort of. I'm just trying to piss off Mo Master at this point. But Mark, did you know, Mark, Kivior has started the last 19 matches that Kivior started for Arsenal. We have lost 0. 19.
You've lost like within the last 18 months. Not even 18 months. You guys, I think, have lost like what, 5?
5, yeah.
You've lost 3 this year, and you lost.
We lost 3. We lost to Inter. And we lost to Man United on fucking penalties.
Well,
no, and we lost something else. So we've lost 5 or 6. But Mark, isn't that incredible? Kivior has started 19 times and we've never lost. So
don't jinx yourself.
No. Oh, there we go, Mo. Because I started bringing in Barcelona players to piss Mo Master off. Gary, how are you, my friend? Very good.
Hello, Lolo. Hello, Mark. Hello,
hey,
John.
Man, how's it
I'm
going?
still buzzing. I don't
Hello,
know about
Pat.
you.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm not
Buzzing.
buzzing like you, but I am happy. Everybody said, this whole you got bigger fish to fry type thing, and it's like, all right, well, you know what? We're actually living that now because everything else is secondary to whatever we're doing, right? We don't necessarily care too much about the league anymore, but we definitely care about the Champions League. So why not? Why not just singly focus? Plus, we've been forced to do that anyways. So hello there. I get Anders, got Ian, got Ryan G. Welcome to the show. But yeah, it is. I mean, everything seems to be playing, perfectly for us. We're playing teams that, aren't going to do low blocks on us, and we're hurting them for it. So why not? Why not? And they're not changing. So what else are we going to do? So we're taking advantage, and plus we're getting healthier. And every time Saka steps on the pitch, I think he just gets better and better. So, he's hungry, and we need somebody better up top. So you know what? That's what we're. He's gonna. He kept us alive, I think, when everything else was falling apart around us, and now we're realizing why he is should be considered one of the top players out there, top young players out there, right? I mean, every time they compare him to a player, said player shows us why you shouldn't do that. Right, especially in the Premier League, any player they bring up, it's like.
I've always had problems when people do that. It's just like, look, why does he have to be compared to this player? Why can't he be the next Saka? Why can't he? Or you know what I mean? Rather than like this whole like LeBron James and Michael Jordan. No, just be LeBron James. You don't have to be Jordan.
Yeah. And you know what? You can't be
Jordan. The argument just doesn't make. I mean, yes, you could throw it out there and you could argue. I know what I would argue, but just sometimes I find these arguments to be moot.
I would argue that the person making that comparison. The person like Michael Jordan is 1,000 times better than the person making that claim.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the only thing that you can say.
Yeah. No, because the problem is you want to compare. All the comparisons begin when somebody's on a purple patch.
Yep.
When somebody is like the Phil Foden thing, when he was like boom, 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 game after game after game for 5 games. And then the rest of the season was nothing. The beginning of the season was nothing. And he gets player of the year, young player of the year. Like, and you're like, are you out of your mind?
Well, that's the whole thing. You don't look at nobody looks at the body of work and what they mean to their club. Like, and you know what we've seen from like the last 5 years, right? We see like he sat on the bench and watched an FA Cup, right?
Yep.
And since then, all he's done is just take control of this team in his own, and just by being out there and performing, and each year getting better. Like I look at his numbers all the time, and I'm like, you know what? Next year he's easily going to get 25 GA in the league, and he did that, and he's continued to do that, and he'll continue to do that. You know, based on what we've seen so far. So yeah, not only that, but then everything's on him. We don't have a striker. Our left wings aren't consistent. They're not good. Right, we're missing an attack in mid to help him. You know, sometimes he disappears on us, but the one thing you have all the damn time is you have Saka, you have your 2 center backs, and we always have a goalkeeper, no matter who it is. Name it, it doesn't really matter. We've had that all the time. You've had a spine, and then you've had Saka off on the right. I always thought you should just move him into the middle, maybe help a little bit there, but they're keen to keep him out on the right. I was like, all right, and you know everything goes to the right, and nothing goes wrong when it goes to the right. You know it's going there. You bring 1, 2, 3, 4 players. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? And then if you only bring 1, you're in trouble. So nobody does. Not too many people will do that. And if they do it too late, you know, he'll make him pay. So I just he's a good player. He's not going to be a flashy player kicking the ball over his head, running past people, but he's sound, consistent, and you know what, that works. So that's like Duncan, right? If you guys know the Spurs over here in the States, Duncan was called Big Fundamental because he could do the little things right, and he did them right. Tim
Duncan and San Antonio Spurs. Be very careful, Gary.
Yes.
You are an Arsenal fan, and there are some Spurs fans in the house.
Well, I did say the word, and I don't. But I said the American. I said the American one, fellas.
It sounded so weird when you said it.
I don't
when
usually
you said
say
it.
that
I was
word,
like that.
But when you talk about the big fundamental, Tim Duncan, you really can't say. You know, I don't have a problem with that team.
But we're talking to British people, Gary. They don't know Tim Duncan, and they don't know what the fuck.
I'm sorry.
There's only one
that word
Spurs.
shouldn't come off my tongue, but it's not about English football. But you know what? Like I said, he is fundamentally a sound player, consistent. You know what you're going to get, and you can try to stop him. And you know what? I always said, it doesn't matter if they know what you're going to do. You know why? Because they can't stop you even when they think they can. And that happens all the damn time. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. You're going to try to stop me, and I'm going to show you why you can't. And that's Saka.
Exactly.
It's like Larry Bird.
Yeah, Larry Bird is just going to shoot over you, and you're going to go, no, I'm all over you. And he's like, and then you blink, and the shot's gone. You're like, wait a second, I told you I'm going to shoot right now. Well, shot's gone.
Yeah. and you know what? That's why I was mad at Bukayo Saka. I was mad at him for the penalty, not for trying a Panenka. Do whatever you want. I'm just saying, Saka has gotten so good at nailing that left foot into the side netting penalty shot where nobody can save it anyway.
I don't like the idea of having. I didn't like the idea of having Erdegaard holding the ball in the first place. I think that. For me, I think that threw off in that type of atmosphere.
No,
knowing that if that ball goes in, what was going to happen to the crowd? What was going to happen to those players on the pitch? What was going to happen to the way this game plays out? Like that ball goes in, you're down 4-0. What happens to everything in white? Heads drop. Fans they're trying to get them back. Nah, that ball goes in. shut it down. You know what I mean? I think shut it down.
That's what I'm
this game's
saying. So
over.
nail it, smack it.
That's why I didn't like the whole game stuff. I was just like, you know what? You know we're gonna take it. You know who's gonna take it, and the ball goes in, and then next thing you know, you know what? We may even win that thing 6-7-0 because they're like their heads they would be out of it at that point. That's how I felt.
You can't put that on Odegaard holding the ball.
No, I didn't like that whole playing. I don't like that.
I mean, but that's part of it, Gary. That's part of it's part of what makes it more than a league match.
Yeah.
It's part of it's Odegaard standing there grabbing it, going, I am going to take all of this abuse so I can just give it to you.
Oh man, that was a good. I heard you guys talking about that day, like basically with like Partey basically showing us
Partey, right?
what a box to box CDM defensive mid, whatever you want to call it, is going to do. And you know
that's the day I changed my mind about Partey.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I am sorry, sir. I didn't know your skills. I was not allowed to watch them on television. Your skills, his skills in the middle of the park, like all day long. I was just watching him. And Mark, you and I kept saying to each other, they keep passing it to Partey. They keep Spurs keep passing it to Partey. And then
he was a bit of a magnet that day.
Yeah.
But he's also like he has a nose for the ball, and you guys are going to miss him terribly.
In the first leg, second
leg. I think
Arteta
will come up with a solution because defensively, I think Arteta is pretty. I think he's fine on finding an answer defensively, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like no matter
what do
happens.
you think? What would you do? In that situation?
I personally, it all depends on who's coming back healthy. Is White coming back healthy? You know, is he going to get a couple games in before all of this happens? Is that because I really would like to see Skelly in the midfield. You know, I know some people are like that's probably not going to happen. But he can do that because he does it anyways, and now he just doesn't have to go back to the left back position. That's all. That's the only difference. There we go. That was a good night as well, my man over there. Dad's talking about their daughters. Yeah. That was a good day as well. I enjoyed that trip. Got to do a lot.
Enjoyed the entire trip.
Yeah.
I just, we talked about it earlier, and just as far as like taking someone who has succeeded in such in that, was it right wing for Skelly? Lewis Skelly, he's on the right.
Skelly's left.
Is he on the left?
Mm-hmm.
I keep him there in for Champions League, or for Champions League. I keep him there because this is where he's been all season.
Yeah,
this is the semifinals. And you want, to me, it doesn't make sense to throw an 18, 19-year-old into the midfield.
Everything he's done is that what you just said is everything that's happened from his first. Think about it, his first introduction was what? He's got a yellow card before he's even stepped on the pitch, and he's playing at Emirates, and it's 2-2. Why are we bringing him in? So whatever you just said after that, to me, it's nothing. He's fine. He will make do. He's done it all season. They put all these big why are you putting an 18-year-old in this situation? And all he's done is say, "I got this, coach." That's all he's said.
Right, and I get that, but I think that to move him now.
What is that? You were looking at bugs flying or something.
To move him into a different position.
I'm in a very game of pitching, Gary. These are old flies who know their shit.
Why push that?
Oh, there you go. That was a good. Yeah. Oh man. No, I hear you, but I'm just saying. You know what? Arteta always has a plan. He does something silly. When we think it's silly, but he knows what he's doing. And so far, like I said, defensively, I have no issues with what he does most of the time because he's already thought it through. I believe, right? So bringing back Moreno, I kind of that means you bring Trossard out there. So now you've got Trossard and Martinelli playing, and I'm like, Saka is going to have to do even more work, right?
Yeah, fair.
That's so. I'm like, you know what? He'll be fine. But like I said, that all depends on if White is back and we have the fullbacks that we need. If not, then it's a Moreno comes back and we have to be concerned about how we're going to get, because Moreno's been playing really well, right? All he's done is like goals and assists, it seems, every other game.
Yeah.
So what do you do? I mean, I know people have said if we had brought in a striker and he had these same numbers, we would be like impressed. But I think if we brought in a striker, we would see even more output from our front line, because that's what they do. Their presence sometimes. We would be able to try different things with him that Moreno's not taking a ball down the center of the pitch and going one-on-one with the goalkeeper, which is what a striker will do for you. You know what I mean? So those things that you can't do, you're not going to do with Moreno that you would do with a striker, right?
Yeah. Arteta has taken the false 9 and turned it into a false 9.5 or something. Like I don't know. Like we're in the false 9 role where people forget about Moreno. That's the thing, is like the center backs are used to, like the Real Madrid center backs are used to one striker being up there being the problem. And Marino's just like wandering. He's just wandering and they don't know what to do. And that's why Marino ends up with 2 fucking assists. He ends up with 2 assists and a goal against Real Madrid in one round of the Champions League. He ends up with 3 GA. Are you out of your mind? 3 GA against
and how many
Real
does
Madrid?
Mbappe and
0
and Bellingham
0.
and
0
and Rodrigo? And the only, and you know, and
nil
besides,
0
besides the assist from Saliba, they don't get a goal, right? I mean,
0
0 for sure, 0. And the Wolves have been doing all right. I see you got, people are talking about you had your top on today, Mark, and you guys have played pretty well as well over the last couple.
We have been playing very well. I mean, it's a little late in the season to say this, but we're top of the form table, or damn near close to top of the form table, whatever that means.
Yeah.
We are no longer in 17th. We passed West Ham.
There you go.
I do think, given that long ass game that Man United played, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Went like 117, 120 minutes.
128,000 minutes because they
it went on and on and on and on and on. They're gonna be a bit tired.
Yeah, but he'll have them. I mean, the way Amarin will play,
on and on and on and on and on. Anana is a fucking terrible goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Well, hasn't he been?
And Cunha will have a hat trick tomorrow.
Hey man, maybe, but I don't think he starts. I still think they got him on the bench for this one.
I don't think either one of the goalkeepers is consistent or good enough to go, well, you know what, you're better than him. It's all right. It will sit the other one. It's like you just don't have a goalkeeper. And you know what? I think Manchester United is learning the hard way why you probably shouldn't have brought your new manager in the middle of the season. You probably should have let him start the season or wait. You know what I mean? Because you just screwed up. You screwed. I don't think to get much out of this season except for I don't want any of them. None of them, please.
Any of them, please. Please, God. Bodo Glimt. Please, Bodo Glimt. And who's the other fucking team that's there?
It's some names I don't even know. What did they say? There's 2 Slavic teams in the semis,
Please,
and like that's the first time ever that one got in. Now 2 are in the semis, and all of the
For fuck's sake, please do not let Tottenham or Manchester United win the Europa League. Are you out of your mind?
That is the crazy part, right? You could have Manchester United and that team playing for a trophy, right? That's just disgusting.
No, because Gary, we could get to the Champions League final. We could play Barcelona and score 5 goals. But if it's 6-5 and we lose the Champions League final, and Man United or fucking Tottenham, for fuck's sake, win the Europa League, we're dead, Gary. We're dead. We got nothing. We got fucking nothing.
Yeah, that is crazy.
God, don't let that happen. Please don't let that happen.
When they were down 4-2,
Sorry, Daniel.
I
appreciate your support, Daniel. 90. Daniel, I really do appreciate your support on the channel. But for fuck's sake, do not win the Europa League. God damn it. God damn it. God.
That talk about the ultimate gut punch. Up, they were down 4-2, and you're like, all right, this should be over, right? And they come back and win 7-6. You're like, what the world is going on here? How does that work? How does that? That's just like
knocked
what?
all of my microphones out of existence.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Bilbao. Yes, Atleti Bilbao. Come on, Bilbao. Vamos, Bilbao. Please, please, please. It's in Bilbao as well. Ryan G says it's in Bilbao. Fucking please, Basque Country, please, 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 please. Oh man.
Well, that would be the ultimate. I can't even say it.
Don't let them win anything.
Just so that that team makes it to the finals and then gets like the series beat down. So,
Gary.
Yeah.
If we don't win the Champions League,
they win this trophy?
I hope so.
That's the Arsenal trophy, basically.
No, I don't want that to be the Arsenal trophy. No.
But Gary, if we don't win the Champions League and Manchester United win the Europa League, then it's literally Manchester United have doubled Mikel Arteta's trophy count with 2 separate managers. They're so terrible. Don't let them win anything, please. Don't let them win anything. They're so bad.
Yeah.
They're so bad. They're so bad.
Some teams save it up for the trophy.
I guess so.
They're so bad. They're so bad. They had Harry fucking Maguire as a striker, and it worked. It worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
He was offside, but they don't call that, right? That was the crazy part.
He wasn't offside.
There was one where I could have swore he was offsides.
The final one, he wasn't. The final one was a beautiful striker's heading goal. And I'm like, you fucking tossers. That Harry Maguire is your best. And Højlund is on the bench. I'm sorry. This just solidifies the fact that they signed Højlund because he sounded like Holland. Like they only signed Højlund because his last name was close to Holland and he looked a little bit like him. Because how do you have him on the bench?
They look nothing alike.
They don't know
I'm
that.
Sorry, they're
Mark.
both big white blonde dudes. They look very similar to me.
No,
maybe white people see them differently.
Holland has the nice skin, and Højlund is like.
I just see that white skin. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm racist.
I never went back and looked at it, Ryan. But I just yeah. No, I you know what? Like last season, they definitely should have lost to Coventry, right? Remember that game? They didn't call any fouls on them late in that game, so they've gotten like lucky calls or non-calls in these games, going in Europe and in the cup games and stuff like that. So No, I would like to see total collapse. I'd like to see total collapse.
Look, Zanzi saying, imagine if Spurs win the Europa League and they end up bottom of the Champions League table. No, imagine if Spurs win the Europa League and they're fucking relegated from the Premier League, which is still a possibility. That's how crazy this is. We're like 4 games away from the end of the season, and it is still a mathematical possibility that Spurs get relegated.
No,
I don't think so, dude. There's only. Well, you're right. There's 18
points. Yes.
Don't you fucking correct me, Gary, unless you know what you're fucking doing.
Yeah, you're
right?
right. You know what? You know what that means, right? That means Ipswich Town wins this weekend.
Good. Fucking win it all.
No,
win it all. Ipswich.
They're playing Arsenal on Sunday.
Fucking
we don't
Tottenham,
lose.
Relegate Tottenham, and then they win the Europa League, and I'll be like, good, you finally got a trophy, you fucking cunts. Oh, Gary, you're making me very angry, Gary.
I hear you. BX, I'm not watching the Heat.
You.
I am. My daughter actually called me up. She's like, or she texted me. She's like, "Are you watching the Heat game?" I was like, "No, I'm actually watching Grey's Anatomy with the boss. We had Italian over. We had pizza and meatballs and Grey's Anatomy. So yeah, had those big meatballs. I was like, oh man.
You had an Italian over?
And her too.
Delivery guy.
No, did I say that too loud? No. Yeah. All right, Terrence. Have a good one. Have a good night. Yeah. I mean, I don't think. I'll be surprised if Ipswich beats Arsenal. Beats us this weekend. So yeah.
Gary, I want to go back, way back. And I know we're over time on the show, so Mark's gonna start getting mad at me and sending me angry text messages.
No.
But Gary, I just wanted to back you up on the fact that Bukayo Saka is fucking phenomenal in ways that people don't understand. Because one of the biggest Arsenal legends still living to this day, Thierry Henry, was over the moon after that performance about Saka and Martinelli. And he said, I don't care about the goal. The fact that they tracked back every single time and defended like fucking champions, that's what mattered. That was the difference. Mbappe and Vinny did not. Martinelli and Saka did. Their team won. That's it. Right there. And the work ethic of Bukayo Saka to get back, and he stopped a counterattack, not even a counterattack, a very slow attack that happened, but he tracked all the way back and individually stopped across into the box and got a free kick or a throw in or something like that. But the fact that they are willing to do that work and do that work so well is what we're missing when we don't have Bukayo Saka there. So Bukayo Saka's work ethic on and off the ball is what makes him absolutely spectacular, and which is why Foden couldn't even fill his teacup. Like,
yeah, when they were comparing, I was like, Foden's had KDB in his prime. He's had all these players in their prime playing around him. One time they did need him, he did show up, and then after that he basically went back to like, all right, you guys will be back, right? And they didn't come back, and he's off by himself, and he hasn't shown it all season. So, I think he's had it a lot easier than some. Yeah, he's talented, but he's had it a lot easier than some, and so that we always talk about what those special players do, right? When they have nobody, they like, all right, just come with me. Right, just come with me. Like, when City can't get a goal, KDB's like, I got this. I'll get the goal.
It's not Foden. It's not Foden that's got this. It's KDB that's got this. Yeah. And listen, saying Foden, as Ryan said, Foden is still a quality player. Absolutely, and so is Cole Palmer. But what I'm saying is, when they are fantastic in the good times, but in the bad times, where are they?
Yeah, no, but when you that comment that you put there, Mo Master, That's like saying, you know what? That's like saying what when you look at Real Madrid with a striker, a true striker who actually, a 34-year-old striker. Remember how they played? You remember how that Real Madrid team played with like a 34-year-old striker compared to like Mbappe, who was supposed to be the world, one of the world's best? It's different. It's different, right? It's different, right? And that's what we're talking about.
Gary, this is a Spurs fan down here. Daniel, he is agreeing with us on this.
Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel. You're my favorite Spurs fan in the world, I think, man.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
But he said exactly the only way that you're getting a result away in Madrid is staying structured to a T. Went out of possession, and then Arsenal realized Madrid were there for the taking. Fair play to Arsenal. Thank you very much, Daniel.
Without Courtois there, the game, the leg would have been over. I mean, the shot.
If Onana was in goal, if Onana was in goal, are you out of your mind? That's an 8.
Yeah. I mean, there's he stopped like they stopped 3 shots in one sequence and then 2 shots in another. And you're like, damn it, we're not going to score today because that's all that they're clearing the lines. The goalkeeper's getting 2 stops all in the same sequence. You're like, what the well? How are we going to score? And then Rice is like, I'll try this. You know what? And I'll try this again.
And that's what it takes. That's what it takes is a fucking player to step up and go, let's go. And Mo Master, that's not my fucking fault. That's Ancelotti's fault.
He's one of the best attackers in football, right? He's considered one of the best attackers in football. And now you're saying, you know what? We moved him into a different position.
He doesn't know how to play as a number 9.
We're not even. No, think about this. We're not talking. You're making it sound like this is his first game playing there. How many games have they played now in this season where he's
40?
So now you're telling me he still doesn't know how to play the position, but he's one of the best attackers in the world. I don't know.
What that tells me is Ancelotti actually doesn't know what he's fucking doing, and he is Everton level. So yes, he's Everton relegation fucking level. That's where Ancelotti is. I'm sorry. You want to tell me Ancelotti?
What is in that beer of yours? What's in that beer? Are you sure it's just beer?
It is. It's beer, but I'm full of piss and vinegar right now. Like, let's fucking go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the nonsense part of our show.
What's nonsense? Ancelotti is fucking base level. Sorry.
Base level.
Ancelotti walked into a Real Madrid team that all you need. Zinedine Zidane walked into a Real Madrid team. How are you not saying Zinedine Zidane is one of the best managers of all time? Because he's not. Because he walked into fucking Real Madrid. Done. Ancelotti gets fired from Everton. Oh, he's the best manager of all time. Fuck off. Matter of fact, had Ancelotti gone and called Sean fucking Dyche, he would have got some advice to play Arsenal like Everton, and they would have beat us. They would have beat us 1-0 home, 1-0 away. They would have beat us if they played us like Everton, because we can't fucking beat Everton. Am I wrong, Gary?
I'm letting you go, man. You let the pipes go. Go on. You're doing work.
No. Mark's talking about my beers now.
I didn't say shit
about
your beer.
About your beers.
I did not say shit about your beer.
I did.
I just said that we were at the nonsense part of our program.
That's what I'm saying, Ryan. That's what I'm saying, Ryan. Ancelotti did the double with Everton over Lolo. Exactly. Because he had Everton who told him to play like a bunch of bitches, and they beat us like that. Then he goes to Real Madrid and he thinks, oh, we are now strong. We can play them. No, you can't, my friend. Play us like Everton. You win every week. We fucking draw with Everton, beat Real Madrid, draw with Brentford, and then beat Real Madrid. That means you suck as a coach. You are shit as a coach. Those are two teams that could have showed you how to get a draw against Arsenal. Jesus fucking Christ. Carlo Ancelotti, go home. Go back to Everton.
Oh,
Fuck.
man.
Gary, Jesus Christ. Playing
No,
like
seriously.
a bunch of bitches.
There you
Indeed.
go. That was great. It's a good way to end the show. Everybody.
Wait, are we ending the show? No, I'm just getting started.
That's what it sounds like.
Sleep.
Was it the after party, right? Doing an after party in front
All right,
of
guys.
If
If you guys want to hear more of what I got to say, because I'm just getting started, and here we go. We will be backstage. Please join us backstage if you want to join us. We just put the link there. So Ryan G, Mo Master, Pink Cushion, Stefan or Stephanie, Stephen, whatever you call yourself.
Stefan.
Stefan, you can join us all backstage. Jimmy Bremmers goes, very good to you. Join us backstage if you feel like it. We will be hanging out and talking mad shit for the next few minutes. So otherwise, thank you guys for joining us. Gary, love you, my friend.
Love you too.
Tell us when's your next show. Tomorrow morning, right?
Tomorrow, actually tomorrow I'm doing the watch along on Mr. Arsenal podcast for the Women's Champions League first leg against Lyon. So I'll be there doing that at 7:30 and then at 10. Yes, check us out on the road trip. There'll be games going on. We'll be chatting it up about the games and about whatever we want to talk about. It's kind of like what Lolo's doing now, but we probably won't be having this many drinks at that time, at least for me in the morning. So check us out.
So you're saying you'll be a little bit more coherent?
Yes, I'll make a lot of sense, and people won't go, "You're talking nonsense."
Wait, Did I not make sense?
You were perfect. You were perfect.
Thank you. I thought I made sense. I may be loud and belligerent, but I thought I made sense.
You were great.
I will now in the post game show. I will not make any sense. I'm just letting you know.
So it's gonna get worse.
Planning
people.
on making 0 sense.
Get your cameras out.
Mark, thank you so much for being here tonight. Are we going to Dram Shop? Is that the key? All right, here we go. You already said absolutely. You already said absolutely.
Oh no!
I'm not going to Dram. I'm staying home.
Okay. All right.
I think that's what's gonna happen to Mark tonight. Mark, do not answer the door. Make sure all the windows are locked. Actually, hide in the attic. So everything.
If anybody can figure out what movie that is, that Cuba Gooding Jr. is strangling Lolo, you win a membership. There you go. All right, guys. Much love to you guys. Thank you, Director John, as well. Killed it again. Good night, everybody. Adios, bitches.